Hello and welcome to our group discussion. I'm Tim, this is
Anika,
this is
Ellie,
and this is
Eleanor.
Now today we'll be discussing question 5, which is about technologies.
We use two main type of technologies. We use an analogue camera and we used Final Cut Pro X on the Mac computers.
Yeah, the Macs were great, they're very fast, they're very efficient. Also we used a tripod to steady the camera, and sometimes just to get shots with it. And also we used the tape, didn't we?
Oh yeah, the tape to record the footage that we took.
Okay, so with the editing side we had the camera and the editing software. For me, I personally prefer the editing of it. I found it really fun getting the different clips, cutting them, putting in transitions and just sort of adding things like titles. It was really good fun, I found. It took a lot of work, and sort of at the end of our main production I had to do a lot of edits because you have very snapshots and it's very quick and fast. But that was my favourite. What's your favourite?
I prefer the filming, just because the Final Cut Pro is really frustrating. It's very difficult to get the timing right. I did edit, but yeah, it was hard.
I didn't really have a favourite. I filmed a little bit because I was the actor in most of the scenes, so I didn't film that much. But I did one scene when I was tracking Tim across the house round a few streets, and I found that okay. I found it quite hard to keep the tripod steady and to go at the same pace as Tim, because obviously you're watching two things at once. Yeah, and a lot of the time I'm absolutely massive. I'm like really tall, so my step is huge compared to these girls. You know? And then we couldn't stop and say, "Oh, Tim, slow down," because it would have messed up the footage, which I found quite difficult. But then Final Cut, I had a go at that, but again I got frustrated. I didn't have the patience, and I didn't have I kind of think the eye for it to know when to cut, when to go on to a different section kind of thing. I found that quite difficult. What do you think, Ethel?
I prefer filming, but I don't like using technology. I find that really hard. I think filming was more creative and more fun because you kind of all get involved, whereas in the editing suite it's like quite a small room, so it's only time for one person on the computer at a time. Yeah. I don't know, I didn't find it very interesting.
I also think you have to be able to have the time to fiddle about with Final Cut and find things and be patient with it, and I found that was the most difficult when we had a short period of time to edit. I found it very difficult. The things that didn't go so well was we once did filming when it was raining, which was really difficult. On a camera that you couldn't see out of the screen, and it was very frustrating. Obviously it was chucking down with rain, we couldn't get the camera sturdy, and for the whole thing of that we had to have an umbrella over it, which limited us from moving. And the locations that we wanted just sort of... It was too busy to shoot, and we had too much, it was too busy to do one shot. We couldn't shout across the road to Tim and say slow down because it would mess up the footage.
So we had to refilm it all.
Yeah, and we just all got frustrated with each other as well. Yeah.
That lost us editing time as well.
Yeah.
So then we came back and we saw the footage. It wasn't good, it was awful. And
a big part of that was... our actual camera had broke, and we thought, and we didn't get the screen, but the loophole thing, we could only see through that, so that actually limited us for our viewing, and so then what we did see really wasn't good when it came onto the editing side. Yeah, that was quite difficult.
Also, there's background.
Oh yeah, we had trouble with our background noise because we were flicking from pictures, and then outside, like from following Tim, it took a lot to take away the sound and the background noise to our final product.
I don't know what happened. It was in a big component, but we had to take it out of the big component, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's another thing that we had it in a component to stop all the background noise, but then realised we wanted a little bit of background noise.
Yeah.
So when Tim went to edit the final bit, they didn't all come up because the whole thing was one big one, so it messed up all of the music, all the titles.
And a big thing that was really annoying is continuity.
Yeah.
You know, we filmed it in the high street, and a lot of the time cars are going past, and it was just so aggravating to film it all at a time. Also, what went well?
I don't think our film is bad. I think the film is genuinely good. I think it came. It came quite good.
I think it's I would say towards the end when it's really good cutting, really sharp. I think it puts the audience on the edge of their seats, which we were aiming to do.
I also think our time is quite good. We got to 2 minutes.
Yeah,
it was 1 minute 20 a bit originally.
Yeah,
and that was 2 minutes in the
Yeah. And also, I'm trying to think now, the actual camera view for it. We did a point of view shot all the way through, and that really worked out well.
Yeah, it shows what she's thinking, what she's seeing, her mentality.
And it adds a twist on what you'd normally get.
Yeah.
For me, I've learnt quite a lot. I've never done media before, so I've never used a camera to film. I've never used an editing software such as like Final Cut X. Pro X, sorry. So that was a new experience for me.
I think the actual filming process, you learn a lot from it because it takes.
I didn't know how many shots like we needed.
But we really needed it. Yeah.
I was like, you need one done.
Yeah, it's a really long process, and you learn that. And for me personally, the editing I learned a lot from. I learned how to do transitions. I learned how to do cuts, all the rest of it, and I learned quite a lot from it.
Yeah. I've done media before, so I used another editing software, and that was so basic compared to Final Cut. Final Cut is like so much more that you can do with it. It's so complicated.
I think it was good though for a thriller opening. We needed it to be to have loads of different components in it, which I found really interesting. I did find it really interesting knowing
it's difficult
how editing people in the real world would edit a film. Ours was only 2 minutes. If people that have to edit like an hour and a half film, I've got my hats off to you. I think it's very difficult, but I learned a lot through it.
There are loads of different things you can actually do to your film. So you can add different music, different sound effects that aren't actually there in real life, obviously, because it's effect. But
sort of like adding loads of different transitions, because that makes it really spooky, especially for our slow-paced start. You know, we did some fade-ins and
the increase as well in the music and the pictures and the whole timing.
Yeah.
We couldn't have done that without
technology. Unless Tim was rambling readings.
Also, when filming it, you know, we're not using the very old cameras where you've only got a whole reel of film, and you know, back in those days you'd only have to sort of cut it and all the rest. So you know, with digital technology,
just cut it straight.
Yeah, it just makes it so much easier to do everything.
Also, like if we cut it wrong or we needed to increase it a little bit more, it was so simple to do because you just click a back button or extend the shot, and it would be back. So that was a lot easier than just deleting it, or cutting it like in the old days would have to do.
I think it's still hard, but it's not as hard.
Yeah.
And then the camera as well. It was very even though we had our problems with it, it was very efficient. Even though it's still one of the old ones, but it was.
Still.
I think generally it's the simplicity of it, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the best thing from it.
Yeah.
Really.